Yeah, especially with from a marketing angle. It seems to me the fighters with a bigger social media profile, they should be able to design their own gear, design their own shorts, have their own like sort of persona. Like in Bellator, they come out, with a big screen. They got who they are, their personality. It seems like quite an easy fix. I mean, Michael Bisping came out with a count shirt, so maybe they are starting to promote that because they're selling this stuff online. But it just seems
Yeah,
so, yeah,
I think they're doing a better job because Reebok took a lot of flack for it. They were very expensive
yeah,
apparel, and they took a lot of flack because people were like, "I don't really like this stuff. It's kind of bland." People did like seeing the variety of the athletes and their sponsors and their personalities. That's kind of what I think is making Bellator a little bit more popular now on the rise because you get to learn more about the actual fighter. And if you look at it, take the NBA for example. The NBA promotes the players. The players are individuals, and that now it's a global sport.
yeah.
Look at the NFL. The NFL really doesn't promote the players. Sorry about that. I got a call real
No
quick.
worries, no worries. Yeah.
But the NFL doesn't promote the players like the NBA does. It's more about the NFL Shield. And you look. That's the kind of route that the UFC is going because they're always saying we can make a new star. We can make a new star. We want to make sure that we keep the UFC brand bigger than the fighter. And Conor McGregor is throwing a monkey wrench in that, and it's almost like the UFC created a monster. So
Yeah.
it's definitely it's a catch 22, and it's gonna unfold. You gotta understand the UFC's only been around. Mixed martial arts has been prevalent now for what 25
Yeah.
years, a little bit over that. So it's in the baby stage. It's definitely growing fast, fastest growing sport in the world. So it's exciting to see where this is going.
Yeah, and just talking about that sort of stuff, like you're part of the Ultimate Fighter recently. What was it like working with TJ Dillishaw and like sort of encountering Cody No Love? Because he's big on the trash talk, and I think he's sort of positioned himself as the successor to Conor McGregor almost. I would say with the tattoos and the outlandish statements. Dana certainly thinks so. I think so. What was it like working on that?
I tell you what, man. The thing about TV, it's crazy. You kind of see what they want you to see, and they kind of make a storyline and they portray it. Working with Cody was amazing. Like I don't think he gets the kind of credit that he deserves. I think they're trying to create the heel out of him, and he's just a young, emotional guy that wears his emotion on his sleeve, and you know exactly where he lies. And the same thing goes with TJ. I feel like they had to create a good guy and a bad guy, and they chose TJ to be the good guy, and nothing wrong with that. TJ is actually a really down to earth, good dude. I just feel like he was misguided, and all the anger and all the emotion was just toward the wrong person. He was in a tough, tough situation. You can't doubt him. You can't argue with him wanting to get better. But I feel like it could have been handled differently because there's guys that left Team Alpha Male on good terms and they're still friends, and you feel bad for TJ because he's almost like a lone wolf going out there now, and it's a situation that didn't have to play out that way, and it's crazy. As far as Cody being the next Conor McGregor, I feel like it's so super hard to find out who is the next anything because this sport is just ever changing. If you'd have told somebody that Ronda Rousey would have fell off the face of the earth as quick as she did in this sport, people would have looked at you and thought you were out of your mind and crazy. And to think that GSP could disappear and come back and make such a big huge splash after being a hiatus for 4 years, nobody on the planet would have thought that would have happened besides him. So you just honestly never know. Now one of the biggest stars is back.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It was an amazing performance. I mean, like looking at GSP now, do you think he's a middleweight? I mean, what did you think of the title fight in particular? Do you think Michael was like a deserved champion? People didn't really rate him. What are your views?
It's tough, man. I'm a big critic of Michael Bisping, but you got to give the guy credit where credit's due. To get wins in the UFC is tough, and he was, before GSP just won that fight, he was the number one most winningest fighter in the UFC. And do I feel like that during his title reign did he fight lesser competition than most champions of past? Yes, numbers are numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. He didn't really fight the top ranked guys in his division. Nothing against Dan Henderson. He's a legend. He's a GOAT, but he was a 48 year-old man that wasn't even in the top 5, and Michael had a chance to fight him for his first title defense, and it was a razor close decision.
Yeah.
If that was anywhere else, if that was in the States, not in his home soil, who knows? Dan Hendo could have been the champion. So that being said, he beat GSP, who was a welterweight legend, and so it's just tough. Like you got to give the man credit where credit's due, but then I think it's always gonna be a little asterisk with his reign, and we'll see. But credit to him, man, he got it done. Not many people could say they're UFC champion. So, and he went and knocked out Luke Rockhold, so he had to earn the belt.
Yeah, and do you feel confident about GSP like defending the title belt against Robert Whittaker or Rockhold? I mean,
it's crazy, man. Honestly, I'm a huge GSP fan. We kind of had the same training family, and I just didn't think that he was going to be able to pull it off versus Bisping, a bigger man, and he pulled it off. And do I think that he's going to stay at the division? I thought there was no chance in the world he was going to stay at that division because Bisping was a perfect matchup for him. If you watch Bisping's last fight versus Dan Henderson, GSP knows he's faster, knows he's stronger, has better endurance, and he saw what Dan Henderson did to Bisping, so he's like, okay, I can do that. I can do it better than that. I have more tools. I have more dimensions to my game than Dan Henderson. So that was a great matchup for him. Now, how does he match up versus the other middleweights? Chris Weidman, as my teammate, he's huge compared to GSP. You look at a Yoel Romero, he's a big, strong, aggressive, middleweight that anybody knows GSP's style. Like, he doesn't want to fight those guys. He even said himself at the end of the interview, these guys hit hard. I was a small welterweight. I'm a tiny middleweight.
yeah.
I don't belong here. And then Dana came in and said, GSP's not going anywhere. He's staying in the 85-pound division. So it's just like, what's going to happen now? But we all know Dana gets emotional. He wears his emotions on his sleeve as well.
Yeah.
So right after a fight, he says a lot of things, and things kind of change and shake up. So who knows? If you ask me, if I'm the UFC, I want to make some money. I want to recoup some of that $4 billion that we just bought the company for. It's a no-brainer to me. The Conor McGregor GSP fight, 170 or a catchweight 175, that'll make ridiculous numbers, ridiculous money, and I'm surprised that nobody's really talking about that. And Conor now needs a big money fight because he's not going to come back and fight for peanuts when this guy just made $100 million boxing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think even more obvious, Tyron's calling, for that champion versus champion matchup. I mean, like, if GSP fights back at 170 and wins that, surely you think Conor and him for the title at 170, two-weight world champions going at it. I mean, obviously it's not a foregone conclusion he's going to beat Tyron. I think Tyron's a bit underrated, but surely that was a plan initially, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel that would be an absolute easy ticket to sell, but I think GSP honestly just doesn't like that matchup versus Woodley. Like, Woodley's very, very active. He's always in the gym training. He's always getting better. Obviously, there's not too many strikers like Wonder Boy, and Woodley handled and carried his own with one of the best strikers in the game, the most elusive strikers in the game. Is GSP striking on that level of Wonder Boy? Not even close.
No.
They train together. They know that. And Woodley's a decorated wrestler. So now, if GSP can't beat him in a stand-up, can't get him to the ground, what's your other outlet to win? It's just not a good matchup for GSP. It wouldn't really make sense. He struggled against Johnny Hendricks, who was a legit wrestler who had punching power, and look at Johnny Hendricks now. So it kind of makes you think, these are all of the things that GSP's management, I'm sure, has to be looking at, because he's not a young spring chicken. He has to make matchups that make sense for him, because if he loses, we're not having this conversation. Nobody's talking about it. Like, it's literally like, you made a lot of money, now you're going to ride off in the sunset. So now the door opens if you keep winning.
Yeah, and talking about that's a good point. Talking about Johnny Hendricks, weight cutting. He's a big welterweight now. Doesn't really look filled out. I mean, GSP at least looked muscular, could sort of physically hold his own, I would say. I mean, you cut to welterweight for the most recent series, and you're a big middleweight anyway. What are your views on like weight cutting and how it affects your performance? Like, would you like rather be a welterweight now? Like, where do you see yourself being?
Cutting weight is absolutely under talked about, and it's miserable. There's a reason why on these countdown shows they never really highlight it. They don't talk about it because it's a black eye on the sport. Everybody's doing it and it's miserable. Like I used to cut weight the wrong way and it literally robbed years off my life and it made me question, do I really want to do this? Everybody loves fighting. We love to go in there, we love to train, we love to compete, but when you're sitting there literally putting yourself on the brink of death to make weight, to cut weight, and then you gotta try to rehydrate and then go out there and perform against some of the toughest guys in the world, 24 hours later, it's tough. And most people just don't understand that. They can't wrap their head around it, and they just think that what you see is what you get in that cage, but there's so much other things going on in just life. So I think that they're trying to get the drastic weight cutting out, but the worst thing for a fighter is themselves because we always look for advantages. Look at some of these guys. They know they're getting drug tested. They know it's random. 9 out of 10 times they're gonna get caught, and they're still doing it just to get that little advantage. So you think if they're willing to risk everything, cutting weight, taking drugs, and risking getting suspended for a year, 2, 3, 4 years, or getting banned altogether, and they're still doing that, they're going to always try to cut weight, always try to make it in. Whatever rule comes in place, they're going to try to get, closer to the weight for certification or whatever it is. And it's horrible. Me, myself, I'm a big guy, man. I started at almost over 300 pounds. The fact that I made it to welterweight, it took a lot of discipline. It took me sacrificing going out with my kids, going out with my friend. Like, people don't understand how long it takes the whole entire process if you're going to do it the right way. So it's more of a lifestyle, and it's going to be tough. I think that's why you're seeing most guys now changing weight classes because they almost have to, and it does affect your performance. Nobody trains 6 to 8 weeks as hard as us fighters, and they're not tired after 15 minutes in a fight. It's because their body's drained.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah. I mean, like, so where do you see yourself fighting for the future? I mean, are you gonna?
Realistically, right now, I say I'm going to be at 85. I'm going to stay at
Okay,
85. I think I have a couple cool opportunities at 85. Now, if they come in and offer me something I can't refuse at 170, I know I can make it. But if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm not going to sit there and cut 30, 40 pounds, the night before. It's gotta be, a methodical process. I'll need at least, 10 weeks to get there. So there'll be no short fights for me at 170. And I think I'm like the stage of my life now, with the book coming out, with the different things that I'm doing, that I'm not gonna put, my health, my risk, my livelihood, my life at risk for just any stupid couple bucks.
yeah,
It's just not realistic, and it's scary because I've been playing football my whole life. I've been competing now for 7 years. So I've been literally competing, whether it's football or fighting, for 20 plus years. That's a lot of activity on one's body. And I didn't go to college and get a good degree to make bad decisions.
yeah,
So
yeah.